Welcome to the deep dive. We are wading through the fire hose of information today, trying to pull out what's essential and honestly pretty fascinating about where interaction is headed. We're looking at sources today inspired by this high-level training series. One part really jumped out, focused on body language, and it had this amazing insight. It's this: words carry information. Okay, sure, we know that. But often it's the body language that carries intent. You know, a little signal, how someone stands, a smile or no smile. That's where you get the real meaning. So here's our mission for this deep dive. How does this idea map onto artificial intelligence? I mean, AI is getting really conversational. Can it actually master intent? Can chatbots, which are already pretty context aware, move beyond just being useful to being, well, truly humanized? We're really unpacking this shift towards humanized AI, specifically within retail, that competitive space.
Yeah, and it's the perfect time to ask because the groundwork. It's already laid. Conversational AI has come such a long way. We're talking way beyond simple scripted bots now. These systems, they run on sophisticated large language models. They have serious reasoning power and access to knowledge that can, rival a human expert in many cases. Just look around today. AI assistants are already pretty great functional experts. They can act as your digital wine sommelier, walking you through pairings, or maybe your personalized running coach, suggesting gear based on your stride, the terrain you run on, that kind of thing. They offer utility 24/7, scales really well.
And I think anyone who's used them feels this.
Yeah.
They still feel kind of cold.
Right.
It's exactly that lack of intent you were talking about.
Yeah.
If they're so smart, why can't they give off a vibe of, like, comfort or confidence?
Exactly. That's the trust gap. It's still there. Despite all the utility, the interactions often feel mechanical, maybe impersonal, just not relatable. In human chats, trust builds on those nonverbal things, a nod, a real smile, that empathetic look, that emotional intelligence. It's missing. And that's what we're finally starting to tackle, because without it, you just build utility. You don't really build brand loyalty.
Okay, right. So let's unpack this jump from just helpful to actually relatable. If we need to inject that human connection, it has to be more than just text, more than just voice. This feels like the next big step. What if you weren't just, typing in an algorithm, but you were interacting with a digital human, someone who speaks your language, maybe even mirrors your emotion a bit, engages with expressions and tone that feel natural, maybe even culturally relevant? The engine behind this, it seems, isn't just a smarter large language model. It's generative AI, Gen AI, but specifically its ability to converge things. It's merging language, vision, and motion, letting the AI not just say the words, but maybe embody the connection.
Yeah, embody the connection. That's a good way to put it. But to do that, you need a really responsive, brain underneath it all. This is where we start talking about agentic AI. Think of Gen AI as like the raw material, the words, the knowledge. Agentic AI is more like the sculptor's hands, shaping it on the fly. These are pretty advanced systems. They let the digital assistants adapt dynamically, reason through things, and act based on what the human intends, not just keywords they spot. So if someone says, "Ugh, I hate this model," the agent doesn't just see hate and model. It grasps the emotion, the intent, and it can actually shift how it interacts right then and there.
Okay, so agentic AI is the brain, the dynamic response part.
Yeah.
But how does that smart brain actually, show up for the customer? You mentioned a whole ecosystem is needed for this.
Yeah.
Can you break down the tech a bit, but keep connecting it back to that human trust element?
Yeah, absolutely. We can sort of break down the innovation into maybe 3 key layers. There's the brain, that's the agentic part, then the face, the visual, the emotional representation, and then the context, making it all feel authentic.
Got it. Brain, face, context.
Right. So on the intelligence side, the brain, you've got companies like Distel AI. They're focused on building these agent systems for tricky retail stuff. Like, imagine taking mountains of in-store data and just letting a manager ask the AI conversationally, "Hey, why did detergent sales dip this week?" and getting a real answer backed by data. And another example, eMay Unlimited. They're specifically designing agents for smooth human-AI collaboration, making sure the AI helps people, doesn't just, take over or confuse things.
That makes sense. So that's the smart adaptive brain.
Yeah.
High IQ. But now you need the character, right?
Yeah.
The face, the personality. Because if the brain's brilliant, but the delivery is flat, monotone, trust breaks down again.
Exactly. You need the warmth.
Yeah. And there are a couple of companies really hitting this visual and emotional part hard, aren't there? Like DID. They enable creating these digital humans that talk in real time, adding that necessary warmth, that relatability. They're literally putting a friendly, expressive face on the data.
And then you have the really ambitious stuff like personal AI. They're aiming even higher, creating personalized digital twins.
Wait, digital twins?
Yeah, AI versions of individuals. They're being developed with the potential for like continuous personality, memory, even simulated empathy.
Whoa, hold on. A personalized digital twin, like an AI clone that remembers every chat you've ever had with it, even months apart. That's compelling for sure. But doesn't that bring up the whole uncanny valley thing? If it's too human, doesn't it get creepy?
Oh, absolutely. It's a massive tightrope walk. The uncanny valley is a huge design challenge. It's why the visual tech has to be basically perfect. And that's where you see foundational research kicking in, like Microsoft Research's work on VSA1. It can generate these incredibly lifelike, photorealistic speaking faces from just one single static photo.
Just one photo.
Yeah, complete with tiny head movements, emotional cues. It makes creating expressive, believable AI avatars much more scalable and affordable. And that's crucial if retail is going to adopt this widely.
Okay, so we've got the brainogenic AI,
Right.
we've got the face tech like VSA1 or DID. But for the AI to sound genuinely authentic, it needs to speak from real-world context, right? Not just generic stuff it learned from the internet.
Precisely, yeah. If your humanized shopping assistant starts recommending a product but has no clue about, say, current stock shortages or what's trending locally, the illusion's gone. The AI needs to be street smart, essentially. So that's where the context layer comes in. You integrate data providers, for instance, Harmonia. They focus on transforming product context and shopper intent data. This lets the AI recommend, say, a specific coffee brand, not just because it's expensive, but because it knows conversationally you prefer ethically sourced beans. It gets the why behind your questions, makes the whole interaction feel way more intuitive.
So this isn't just theory, it's actually being deployed now.
Yeah.
Give us an example of what this looks like when all the pieces, brain, face, context come together in the real world.
Yeah, a really good case study is the work by DeepBrain. They're a leader in this digital human tech. They've deployed it in 7-Eleven's unmanned stores in South Korea.
Unmanned stores, wow.
Oh, yeah. Think of it as a 247 digital concierge. It acts just like a human employee would guide shoppers, can verify age for certain products, answers specific questions about what's on the shelf. It really ties together the visual, the smarts, and the context in a live store setting.
Okay, that 7-Eleven example really paints a picture.
It does, and it shows the vision, right? What this tech enables is genuine, ongoing, expressive help for the customer.
I can picture it. Like walking into a store and being greeted by an in-store specialist that actually smiles, makes eye contact, and guides you through something complex. Maybe explaining the differences between two fancy TVs, but with personality, with encouragement.
Or think about after you buy something, that dreaded flat pack furniture assembly.
Ugh, yes, the worst.
Right. Instead of battling a confusing paper manual, imagine interacting with a post-purchase assistant on your tablet or phone. It walks you through step by step, maintains encouraging eye contact. And here's the key bit. It has the potential ability to gauge your frustration level from your tone of voice.
Really?
Yeah. If your voice gets tight, sharp, the AI could potentially slow down, maybe offer a virtual smile, change its approach, try to ease the tension.
That ability to sense emotion. That links straight back to your original point about intent, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. But then the big question becomes, does this emotional layer, this investment in empathy, actually translate commercially? Does it sell more stuff? Does it build loyalty? This is why the pilot studies happening now are so incredibly important.
Right, the proof.
Exactly. We're seeing a major pilot implementation happening right now. It's led by Mariana Cunha Amaro from Microsoft's worldwide retail team, working closely with a big retailer. They are laser focused on measuring the actual results of this humanized approach.
Okay, but we're not just measuring clicks or page views here, are we? How on earth do you measure emotional impact? What are the actual metrics they're tracking to prove that, empathy converts?
That's the fascinating part. They're tracking the emotional, behavioral, and commercial impact. So behaviorally, sure, they look at things like how long people interact, return rates, conversion rates, comparing expressive versus non-expressive digital humans. But the emotional data is where it gets really interesting. They're looking for signals of trust. Are customers more willing to share personal preferences with an empathetic AI? Do they rate the interaction as feeling warm or reliable afterward?
Oh, okay.
The whole goal is to find clear, actionable signals that other startups and retailers can actually use. If they find that a digital human maintaining steady eye contact and using culturally appropriate hand gestures drives, say, 15% higher trust scores, well, that becomes a design principle for the future. They're basically treating empathy not just as a nice to have, but as a measurable variable in the whole retail equation.
That really reframes the technology's purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's moving beyond just efficiency. It's about actually engineering a connection. So if we zoom out a bit, this humanization of chatbots, it feels like more than just a tech upgrade. It feels almost like a human evolution in how we design systems.
I think that's right.
It circles all the way back to that first idea we talked about, how you say something matters just as much as what you say.
Yeah.
And now that principle has to be baked into the AI systems we build. We're shifting from AI that just gives you utility to AI that potentially offers a genuine emotional connection.
Which brings us neatly to this redefined idea of trust in our digital lives. Historically, right, we thought trust in AI was all about accuracy. Did it give the right answer? Was it correct?
Yeah, was it useful?
Exactly. Utility equals trust. But as these super expressive systems start to roll out, the definition of trust is changing. It's built not just on accuracy anymore, but really fundamentally on authenticity and empathy. This blend of personality, memory, emotion. It raises that final kind of provocative question for you, the listener, to think about. As these AI systems become almost indistinguishable from humans in their expressiveness, where do you draw the line? What's the difference between a really, really useful tool and a true digital connection you actually rely on? That's the frontier we're crossing right now.